Call the meeting to order at 5 o'clock. Warrants have been signed as well as the refunds. Did the minutes get changed, Carrie?
They did, yep.
That typo? Okay. Everybody had a chance to go over the minutes?
I did.
Any questions, changes?
No, I watched them.
That's right, you weren't there anyway, so.
Nope, I'm
Good
content. Motion to accept the minutes as corrected.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We'll go.
Yeah, I don't know if she has our order of concern. So my name is Rick Damon, and this is my uncle Ralph Ozier of 80 Crescent Street, West Bridgewater. So Ralph has lived in town for 42 years, 81 years old, still going strong by himself, so he's doing all right. My mother, Norma Mills, 80 Crescent Street, lived in town for 41 years. So together we're talking almost 100 years. I grew up in the town, graduated from West Bridgewater High. All right, so a lot of deep roots here. And in that time, and all those years, all those decades, we've never had a problem with our water bill. He's never been late on a payment in 41 years, 42 years. Never been late on a tax bill or an excise tax. Recently, we received a bill that was some 18 times the normal. Bills usually around $100. We received a bill for $1,800. Staggering. Again, he lives by himself. There's no irrigation system. The bill was for the fourth quarter, so it wasn't in the summer. That type of thing. We came down. We talked to the ladies in the office. Very professional. We sent out two gentlemen, engineers, to the site. They were good enough to go downstairs and run a data analysis, hook up to the meter, run data analysis, and they didn't have to, but they opened up their laptop, showed us the report, and showed us that our normal usage rate is whatever, 0.1, whatever, something like that, and now this is showing 50 something, and it was staggering, but it was a definitive time frame of 3 weeks. Started on November 21st at 1:30 in the morning.
Well, it's just afternoon time.
Pardon me?
It was just afternoon time when I relooked at it, not disputing.
Okay, yeah. So anyway, the gentleman at the time showed us, at the time the data they showed us showed 1:30 in the morning it started, and on December 12th, 2:30 in the morning, a.m. it stopped. So later we found out it was a mistake. That information was a mistake. It was actually, what'd you say, 1:30 in the afternoon?
Yeah, sometime
Okay.
afternoon.
Either way, an incredible abnormality that we've never seen in 41 years, and there's no explanation for it. I asked the gentleman at the time, that rate, what would constitute something like that? And he said, I said, like, it's not a toilet. The toilet's new. It's one toilet in the house, 3 sinks. He said you have to run the 3 sinks at once or something like that, or possibly a hose, garden hose outside. Of course, that time of year, the garden hoses are all put away.
What time of year was it?
Late November to December.
Into mid-December.
So we don't have an explanation for that, and we're not here today to challenge your report. We're not here to challenge your data. We're not here to challenge the gentlemen that were very professional, came to the house. We're not here to challenge the accuracy of the meter, the age of the meter, versus the warranty of the meter, versus the manufacturer's longevity of the meter. We're not here to challenge any of that. Right? You guys have a job to do. You're a board here. But I don't know what you consider yourselves. If it's a board, you're beholden to the town, and if things are just black and white. You know, I work for the largest chemical distributor in the world, and we have a board, and our business is black or white. That's not the case here. The case here today is for hopefully for you to take a look at the overall situation and understand that there are some situations that are gray. There are some situations that may sometimes not make sense. And to understand that we have a senior citizen here of limited means, limited Social Security income, and all of a sudden we have this abnormality that we can't explain, that we've never seen in almost 50 years. And, you know, we're here not to challenge anything, not to challenge anybody, but here to ask for your consideration, given the amount of time that he and my mother lived in this town, and how we've never missed a tax payment or late on a water bill or anything, and consider maybe nullifying this one-off. I mean, if there's a margin of error on the meters, I have to say 1 in 50 years is maybe worth consideration of nullifying this as an abnormality that we can't explain. Okay, and to make matters a little bit more murky, if your decision would be no, we have to be black and white. That's how we operate here. It's what lengths will you go to receive payment on that $1,800, right? Because there is certainly a case to challenge it legally, but we're not here for that. Oh, you're going to shut off the water? You know, forced hot water system, and you know now you challenge somebody's right. So that
Regardless, you're not going to get the water shut off.
we're going down different roads.
We don't do that.
Right. Okay. So thank you. You know,
Whatever we end up, and we can't vote on it tonight, as
Right.
was explained, it wasn't on the agenda. Regardless, you're not going to get your water shut off. However, whatever we go through.
Just from a financial perspective, while he lives in the house now and he's alone, that water bill's in my mother's name because the house was in my mother's name for decades. She's now in the twilight of her years, and she's in a long-term care facility, and there's no assets, right? So then you're talking about filing a legal motion to put liens on the houses and this and that. I mean, we're getting down some really murky roads, you know, that things will not be clean. So we don't feel it's something that makes any sense at all. And again, we're here, you know, at the mercy of the department and asking you for a consideration to just look at this situation for what it is, something that we can't explain. And again, not here at this point to challenge your data. It just doesn't make sense. An 81-year-old guy living by himself all of a sudden uses 30,000 cubic feet of water in 3 weeks. So that I know you can't vote on it tonight. This isn't, you know, you guys deal with all sorts of things, I'm sure. You know, in the summertime, a hot summer, and people come in and all of a sudden their water bill triples from $200 to $600. This isn't that case. This is a guy who lives by himself, and all of a sudden this is an astronomical bill for a guy that's on Social Security. That doesn't make any sense. Now, you know, so I'd ask for your consideration, and I know you can't vote on it tonight. You have procedures. I'm sorry we had the dates confused. If we had them right, we would have been here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we actually had you on the agenda for the last meeting.
We apologize. I had time for. So anyway, you know, I'm hoping you can take everything I've had in consideration. You know, a good, outstanding citizen, and just something that just doesn't make any sense. I just don't think that it's just, you know, the guy said, I said, well, one dripping faucet caused that type of thing in 3 weeks. He said no. He said you had to have several things on full blast. Yeah, while he lives by himself, you know, I'm over multiple times a week to, you know, check on things, and nothing was on full blast. So, and the fact that it was turned off and on at 2:30 in the morning does, again, those are all details which you have a report, and I'm not here to challenge. I'm just here to discuss and say, would you consider this and take a look at this and you know, giving us the opportunity to nullify this bill.
Yeah, well,
Do you have any questions for me?
no, I don't think there's any questions at this point. If you want to just, like I said, we can't really vote on it tonight. We'll have it on the agenda for the next meeting to discuss and have a vote one way or the other what we might do. You don't have to be here for that.
In that day, oh, I don't know.
No, you don't have to be here. I mean, it's not gonna
You
make
just
it.
leave me a name and number, I can call you on Tuesday after.
I'd be happy to be here if you want, if you feel,
Well, I think we know, we understand what the situation.
between now and then, if you have a question, I'd be happy to answer it, or come to the meeting.
But it actually is the next meeting, is
It's a
that?
Tuesday.
It's bumped because of the holiday.
Tuesday the 15th.
What holidays are
That's,
they?
that's a joggers holiday.
Yeah, jogging day.
Marathon Monday,
Alright.
April 16th.
Us not,
Oh, John.
us obviously not being joggers. But yeah, so we'll,
Okay. Gentlemen, I thank you, and ladies, I thank you for your time.
Wayne, did you have anything you want to say about that?
No,
Just because I know that if you don't come to the meeting and you have anything that you want to say in defense of what Wayne has, I don't know.
Yeah, we
Is
could
this
just
one-
see that it came on, and it, you know, it was like in noontime, just after noontime. Well, there was a, you know, we can only guess, but it's a full bore flow, so he was getting everything he could get out of the system for whatever. It could have been a garden hose that just blew apart in the sunlight. I mean, I go camping, that happens all the time.
Yeah, but again, the garden hoses at that time, we've got them, when you disconnect your hoses, and most people do it in October.
Yeah, I can't tell you what happened, but this is like something wide open, and it ran, and then suddenly it shut off.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, you know.
How long did it run?
I'd have to drill back, but I can see right off the surface 11:20, but this is rough. I'm looking at a graph that's up until December. So it ran for about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks.
The gentleman that came,
Yeah, I can drill in, it's
Yeah.
just,
Again, I'm not here to challenge your data.
Alright.
They had a spreadsheet.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Okay, so it wasn't a graph, it was a spreadsheet. So they were pretty confident, both of them, in what they showed me. And again, I'm not here to challenge that.
Okay.
If we get into the details, that's a different discussion. And that's it, that's, that's a legality that we're going down, that, we're not here, I'm not here for that. I'm not here to get your back up. You guys have some data that you work with. I'm just here to say it doesn't make any sense, and it was turned off at 2:30 in the morning. I mean, an 81-year-old guy that has Parkinson's disease, he's not walking around, turning garden hoses off at 2:30 in the morning. I can't explain it. I'm just saying, in 42 years since 1982, we've never had an issue with the water. Never been late on a water bill, tax bill, anything. Raised a family here, and there's, I have so many, good people and good departments in the town of West Bridgewater. Shout out to Officer Richard Flaherty, who knows, who knows my uncle well, because with Parkinson's we have some issues and we get nervous, this and that. And Mr. Flaherty, Officer Flaherty's come by a number of times, and he sat and calmed my uncle down until I get there. Even the water department. I mean, I remember years ago I graduated with a degree in geochemistry. As part of my studies, I had a segment on hydrology. As part of the hydrology segment, I had to write a dissertation on a water flow system, and I chose the West Bridgewater water flow system, and I came and interviewed the water guy at the time in like 1988 or whatever it was.
Right.
Sat with me for hours, showed me all 4 pumping stations, let me take all the pictures of it. I mean, that's not necessary, but that's what we do in a small town.
he would have sat with you for 4 hours just talking about.
I mean, he was phenomenal. I got an A on the paper, by the way, And I gave him any A's. But my point is, there's black and white that we have to operate in sometimes, and then there's other times where we understand the situation we're at, we understand the small town, we take it all into consideration, and that's what I'm hoping you do here today. Okay? That's all I got.
Okay, well, like I said, we'll put it, it'll be on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay.
We'll discuss it and have a vote on what we're gonna do then.
Okay.
But absolutely do not concern about
We don't turn off.
shutting the water off or, trying to rip $1,800 out of your hand next month or something either. That's not, no matter what, that's not gonna be
it just doesn't, and again, I have to remind you who you're trying to collect from. You're trying to collect from a lady that's in a nursing home, even though he lives by himself, right? So that's,
Yeah, no, I'm aware. I used to-
From-
I
from
used
a
to deliver
legality
meals on wheels
standpoint,
To the house, I remember that.
what's that?
I used to deliver Meals on Wheels to the house. over
You did.
there, so
Thank you very much.
I understand what's going on
Well-
as far as her condition and everything.
thank you. So she's hanging tough, right? So appreciate that. Thank you, gentlemen, for the time. Been gracious with your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's almost 60 gallons a minute.
Yeah, it,
This, oh, can you get that much out of a half inch?
I don't know.
This door right here, yep.
yes.
That's a lot more than holes.
So it's cubic feet, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do it next time.
Yeah.
But I'm looking, that's like almost 2 million gallons. 1.7, that's 1.7 million gallons in 20 days.
Yeah, it was a lot. It came on, like I said, it had to be a garden hose, open-ended into.
I don't know if
You
you
would hear that.
I don't know that you can get.
No, well, not every, like, my mother doesn't hear anything. So,
I got one of those too.
so it could happen, and if it's laying down in the yard, you don't see it. The meter's not flawed.
There's been no issues with the meter since?
No, you could see it was an event. It happened, I mean, I can zoom in on it and bring it up on, so you can see it closer. But that's, when I was looking at the spread, I'm looking at the billing cycle, so I can't drill in. But you can literally see it come on and cut off. Like somebody discovered it and shut it off. And it's not uncommon to forget what happens. Like I used to do it all the time. You go out, there's a sprinkler running in the morning, I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, we have to figure that though, because that's literally 60 gallons a minute. You cannot get that out of a hose. I've left my hose on for a couple days at a time.
You would have seen a flood in the yard somewhere,
And again, that's.
it depends upon the yard. I'm not here to
I
argue
left,
with
no,
anybody.
if it's that high, we do have to kind of make sure we figure out what goes on.
You know, I can remember that.
Yes.
This is the same house, we just got back from a fire in Brockton, 20 years ago, and this guy comes walking in, and he says, I think my house is on fire. So the fire knocked out the phone line, so he drove to the stop fire station to let us know.
Yeah, he's just past the last
Yeah, right.
curve where the straightaway goes.
I think just before the walkway by Spring Street, Roselle McDonald, the house just before the walkway off of Crescent Street. It's right around, he's on that side of the road.
He's on that side of the road, but not quite that spot. He's the one who always has like stones along
Okay. So how many, 60 gallons of
That's all, I mean, I did the math quick, I might have done it wrong, but that just seems awful high to get that kind of water out of anything. But that's for,
next week?
no, not next week.
2 weeks.
2 weeks on a Tuesday. Okay, back to the normal order of business. We have contracts to review and vote. Now, the votes, when do they need to be in for?
They're already, because this is a rolling contract, so you're just signing off. It would be the last one you signed for me.
Nope,
You better not say that.
not allowed.
We do executive session on this?
Superintendent.
You can, I mean, if you want to discuss,
We haven't, I mean, this is the,
Standard.
it's the standard rolling 3-year contract. So you're just extending it out 1 year.
Okay.
so.
Mr.
We're extending it out for 3 years. It goes from.
Yeah, you're just tacking on a year. If you didn't renew it, then it's got 2 years left remaining. So when you renew
No,
it.
this goes from today till 2027.
Yeah,
So we're going for 3 years.
yeah, but it runs, yeah.
Oh, so it's a steady,
Yeah, it's just a rolling
Yeah.
contract.
Do we want to talk about this in executive session?
We never have, as long as I've been on the board. We
Probably should.
do executive session for.
I mean, I know you want to hand me an extra 100,000, but, it's not in the budget right now, so.
Would you, I mean, if you'd like to go into executive session, you may make a motion to go into executive session.
Do we need that on the agenda though, that we're going into executive session?
Well, I'm gonna say we go into executive session only because another board that I sit on, I was charged with an open meeting law violation because of something similar to this, which was unstandard.
So the only other thing is finish up whatever's on the agenda first, before you go in, that way she doesn't have to stay here.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, actually, I have two of the same one anyway. So, yeah, we'll push that off till after,
I'll print a couple more.
because that's gonna be
I
a,
must have
I was wondering whether to,
well, that's why I was, where it says, all right.
Oh, yeah, I got 2 Kerry buckles.
Well, I guess we're not renewing Wayne's contract, no.
Is it on the watch?
That's okay,
It's already been renewed.
I can use the vacation time.
Right, we'll go to the old business. Still nothing going, you know, just the appeal of the ZBA decision's ongoing, there's nothing to report on that. And we need Wayne to walk back to do the rest of the agenda.
I can give an update on the communications committee.
All right, do that.
So we had all our presentations from all the different vendors, and we voted at our last meeting to stay with Revise, which is our current website provider, and upgrade our package with them. Our website hasn't been upgraded in 15 years, so for another $1,000, they'll upgrade the whole website, and then give us a 5-year from now to update it again for that $1,000. And then we're gonna add some text alerts that you can get through the website, mobile app. So if you want a mobile
So
app.
they can do all the things that you guys are talking about doing, and that'll be within the $1,000, is that now something extra on top?
There's extra on top of that for those extras with the text alerts and the mobile app, all pretty reasonably priced. They can't do the emergency notifications, so we're gonna use a secondary company, Rave, that they use mostly for the fire and police, but they can do water. You know, you can have a bunch of preset notifications saved in there. Water main break, stay away from, and you can literally on the map circle the area and it'll send a text to everyone in that area and let them know that there's a water main break in that area or flushing happening in this area. You go and you highlight an area on the map.
Do they have to opt in to give their phone number in?
Yes. Yes. But I think that the way things travel on the hub right now, people
Yeah.
will be more than happy to sign up to get actual information.
Yep.
And that's all gonna be in the IT budget, so they're gonna put that in the IT budget for this year to upgrade all these things to improve communication. So,
I have one question.
Yeah.
Is it gonna be, like, are we gonna be able to have, not control, but are we gonna be able to put out the alert? Because right now, we have to like send everything to someone else.
Yes.
To put on
you're gonna be able to
Okay.
send out alerts yourself
Okay.
and then have, I believe you're gonna be able to have your own file, water department that has all your preset notifications in there. That you send out, all right, we're flushing hydrants on this day, we have a water main break, and you already have all the wording already set up, you're just saying on this street,
Mhm.
and then send, and selecting the area.
Perfect.
So, I think it's gonna work out, you know, the 2 water main breaks that we had last year when no one
Yep.
knew what was going on, and we're sending out our own personal messages on the hub and hoping not to get beat up for it. That, I think that'll be a lot better, because it's just an alert, there's no responding to it, you know, there's no
Well, and they
drama
get-
associated with
They
it.
get the information whether they're on the thing at the time or not, so everybody, people that aren't on the hub
Yeah.
will get it
Right.
as well.
So they do, so people that aren't on the hub will get notified?
As long as they give us the
They
cell
gotta
phone
opt
number.
in.
Yeah, everyone who opts in.
Well, you put that information out, people are probably
Right.
gonna be more,
As long as they know that you're not gonna harass them for other stuff. Do you need new windows? Do you need a new roof?
Right.
well, if they opt into one, Like, do they opt into, also if they opt into police, would that be police, fire, water?
I know one of the services that we looked at that was like $36,000 it was broken down like that. I believe there's some user control with that, but then also on the app, they can sign up for notifications for the water department, and anytime something comes up on the water department, they'll receive a notification on the app that such and such has been updated. So there's that aspect too, where you can kind of customize that part.
Yeah.
But on the RAV, I'm not sure. On Revise, you can really customize what you want notifications about.
No, I was thinking more in terms of if you know, somebody can just give their number once and everybody can send them
Yes.
the messages, not that they'd have to sign up for a notice from us, also from a notice, because then people, you know, they sign up once, they don't want to
Yeah.
bother doing the other. So that once their number's in for notifications, all the different
Yeah,
groups
there'll be
in
text
town
alerts
would do it. Okay.
for the town website,
Yeah.
but then the rave is just emergency notifications for us, Board of Health, and fire and emergencies, police. That's so that people don't get tired of getting all these alerts all the time. That's just, hey, water main break, and you're not, scrolling through and getting things for things that may not pertain to you, that you really, dog licenses are due. You know what I mean? You're not getting those
Yeah,
on
basic
that.
public safety information.
Right.
Stuff.
Right.
Now, do we pay for that, or does the town do their?
The suggestion from the selectmen is that they're gonna, or from.
Well, we pay
is
for
that
a
they're
part of
gonna-
the IT budget.
Yeah, they're
It's
gonna-
splintered between the groups.
Right, they're gonna put in the IT budget.
Yeah, and we'll get assessed
Yeah.
some portion of it.
But communication is key to almost everything. It's not.
You know, people don't get surprised if they get the information, it's always better deal. Terry, can you put the committee that on the agenda, so it comes up each time? All right, so Wayne, would you like to take us through the stations?
All right, so they were pretty much concentrated on getting out the bid package this past couple of weeks, so they haven't done much more than that. I mean, they're just getting back to the other stuff now.
But they got that out on sale?
It's out, it's posted everywhere, it's due in April, mid-April sometime, I'll get you the date. But the bids are due to be open, I could get.
Did they determine they didn't need a filed sub-bid for plumbing?
I just know it talks about sub-bids and stuff in it. I just had to try to figure my way through combis and get it posted out there, which was always fun. And I did get it up there and out, so, and they've got theirs out.
Do we have the advertisement? Do we have a copy of it here?
I do, I can just dig it out.
Yeah, afterwards, because that'll tell us if there's a filed sub-bid required, that has to be before the regular bid, so it'll say in there.
Yeah,
It might be a moot point after Wednesday's meeting. We're gonna be discussing this on the board meeting Wednesday. What for accessory building.
We can go through all this, and now you guys are gonna make us not do it.
Look at,
I'm not gonna complain about it, but
well, there's a lot of other areas in the state that have just similar concerns that we have. So, we'll be discussing it Wednesday's meeting.
nice. Would you like us to draft a recommended?
No, because I'm one of the,
You're wrong, I know, you're
I'll
wrong.
make I'll make the commentary. I think that will affect a lot of people.
All right. So we might be able to take that out.
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Hoping.
So I haven't heard much back on 1, 2, or 4. I know they've got to pick a site, and then after that, because of the issues we went through, and a lot of thanks to Hugh Hurley and,
Yeah.
can you think of his name? What?
Michael White.
White.
Much
Yeah.
like the building.
For putting their heads together and finding a way around a roadblock. So Station 3, all the tests keep coming back 0. So
Did you didn't get back that 28-day test yet, did you?
I haven't gotten that one back, but I've gotten the interims back in between. The raw water still has it.
Yeah.
But
Is the raw water up high that it had been?
it's up higher, it's in the 30s, the river well.
All right, because that's what, same thing I had heard from a couple other places around.
Yeah.
It's like it's all of a sudden climbed
Yep,
with all the water we had coming down. It's
Yeah,
gotta be
that's-
something coming out of it.
yeah, the river came up, yeah, it was close, we almost had to shut the well off.
That it was that high.
Yeah, I haven't seen it that, when I first got here, it used to be that high every spring. It hasn't been that high now in a long time, so, and we're about to get another 2 inches.
Well, the brook behind my house is as high as I've ever seen it.
Yeah, it's roaring.
38 years, 37
Yeah.
years, so. No, it's crazy. You haven't done anything up Walnut Street?
No, I haven't. It's getting warmer now. I'll look to rent out. I'm trying to get the CCR out so that I've got everything. I got through the annual report. Our unaccounted water flow is high. We're allowed 2 years to come back in. That's not a piece of paper. But we were kind of expecting that. So it's 17.4. They're allowed 10. You gotta be 10 or under, so next year it should come back. We've seen a great drop off, and after the North Main Street also, we've seen a drop off. Like, if the stars align correctly, we can almost go a whole day where the pumps don't run, but we're in the...
What do you think the unaccounted flow was so high from?
Well, the one out in the swamp was probably running for a long time, and it was, as it starts to cut its way open, it gets worse and worse.
So you figured most of it was probably from the breaks?
Yeah, those two breaks alone were huge, because one at the North Main Street was dumping right into the thing before it became visible, so I don't know how long that was running.
17 and 10 what?
What's that?
17.4, so 10 is,
Yeah.
10, yeah, percent of our water.
I didn't know.
Like, no matter how many times I looked at it, there's no way for me to, I couldn't come up with ways to explain it out. It's just, it was too high.
No, in any estimate, it's just gonna be a raw guess,
Right.
anything you do on the
Yeah,
leakage really, because
right.
you can tell maybe once it's fixed if you got an individual drop, but like you say, you have no idea
Right.
how long back, and it probably was just slowly ramping up. It's
Yeah,
not gonna
they-
be a big chunk.
It just happens, that's what happened on Manley Street with that sprinkler line. When it started to cut its way open, it began to increase, and you could see it, but if they don't surface, and most of the water leaks don't surface unless they're spraying straight up. And in each of these cases, they were spraying vertical, you know, so they weren't coming up, or horizontal.
Horizontal, yep.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, it is what it is. If it's gone back down, then, you know, we should see it down this year.
right.
And we have 2 years.
Yeah, so we have next year to bring it back in line.
Did we ever come to a conclusion on those leak detectors that we were talking about putting on the main runs?
So I haven't done it yet because you have to buy, so like Badger has one on, you can put on water meters and you can replace and it'll monitor stuff. But it only calls in at preset times. So like if an event occurred, it won't call in until its next preset time, so you won't see it happen. Like with the one in the swamp, that was an immediate, that had to be dealt with immediately. It wasn't, I didn't have time to wait 6 hours for our next call in. So I stopped looking at them. I'm gonna push back on DEP to say, like, we had a leak detection done in 2019, a townwide one done. It was useless, because we actually dragged the guy back. He didn't find any leaks on his own. We dragged him back to points we knew there was a leak, and he'd look at, oh yeah, there's a leak here. No, you were already past here, buddy. Most of the really good people retired. When I was trying to arrange that, they were all retiring and selling their businesses off to the next generation, which weren't.
Well, and this town's tough anyway, because we got so much of the asbestos cement pipe, it doesn't
Sound doesn't
transmit any
travel.
sound. And the way they do the detection is they listen.
That, most of our pipe is under a clay layer of dirt, so when you're under it, that muffles it also. You can't hear it from above. So it makes it really tough, and if you don't penetrate the clay layer, then the water doesn't come up, it's down in the water table. It's just adding to it, it's not surfacing.
Hopefully our numbers will come right there. What was it the year before?
We were under 10, I think we were at 10.8.
See, last one spiked 7%. I
Yeah,
think 8.
yeah, but like I said, as they get
8.8%.
close, you could literally see how the water cuts things up to pieces. Because it's spraying out, you know, like there, it had, and it's hidden because it's from both sides, so you don't see a drop off to somebody. Because when you have multiple tanks out there in the system, you've got pressure on both sides. So if you have a leak in between, it's fed from both ends, so nobody's losing water until you empty the tank, so you shut off the pumps.
Yeah, unless you have something on the dead end that has one place where it's gonna
Right.
be getting fed from, and all of a sudden they lose
Yeah.
pressure.
And that's why the sprinkler one hit on Manley Street. It was right there out of the intersection of West, but it had the tank on the other side feeding it backwards, so it was hidden.
So hopefully it was just those, and we don't have some other bigger leak that we're not aware of.
Right. I mean, there's always leak, the water pipes leak, are known leakers, and there's accepted volumes, but not to that extent. Those were major leaks, catastrophic failures.
Well, hopefully that's all it turned out to be.
The replacement well, like, they're still holding back one payment to Dankers to get the electricians back out here. After that, I think we've troubleshot everything under the sun, but the hand part is big. And I sent out emails, they didn't respond back to me, but now they want their money, so now suddenly they're
And
responding back.
that's the one that tonight we
Yeah. Yep.
push back. Okay. Rates?
Well, I don't do anything with water rates, that's up to you guys.
Well, right now, we seem like we're okay with what we've been,
So we're covering it because we're taking in user fees. So we're actually on a shortfall as long as I hold my spending, which I know by the things you're signing, it looks like I'm not, but I am. It's the tie-in fees, like the riser connections, that are actually paying our way through. But those eventually go away.
can we get some kind of a summary of what that rate, how much the rates are actually falling short?
Yep, I can print
Get
that out,
that,
because I
yeah,
still
print
have
something for that for us for next meeting, we can start talking about what we might need to do
Yeah.
as we go into when the water use starts picking up.
Do you recall what date we increased last year?
I want to say it was in between the billing, so the billing had gone out, so it was right around this time.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
I would have to look.
That's when we actually changed the,
Yeah, I just didn't want to increase it twice in 1 year.
Yeah, no, it's not, it's been more than a year now.
all right, anything else to bring up in regular session? It's not on the agenda.
We're also about to begin our MPA testing, so that's microscopic particle analysis to determine whether the river well, it's done in 2 sessions, so it's in the spring and in the fall. So this one, we have the unit, we're setting it up so we can do the sampling.
To see if it's under the influence.
Yeah, and they just look for certain bacteria with, you know, definitive things that say that you only find this in water, you don't find it in well water.
Yeah. Don't make you sample the actual river.
No, I thought I'd be sampling the river and the thing, no, we just sampled the well. It's a 24-hour run, and then we have to get it up to them in Vermont. I was gonna actually stay up there, because it's 4 hours up to it, but it happens that next Monday is that solar eclipse. So like the hotel room's up to like $800 a night, I'm like, all right, that's not gonna work. So one of these guys, or 2 of them, will get overtime to get up early in the morning and drive it up.
Does anybody, or does it have to be timed like so much time after a rainfall or something like that?
No, there was nothing on that. So that's another thing I'm watching, but I'm also charged for every 2 weeks to have that kit sitting here. So I'll give them a push back and say, listen, you didn't tell me that it was thing, and I can't sample until April 1, and we're taking tremendous amounts of rainfall.
Yeah.
So I'll see if I can buy a little more time out of them.
All right, well, whatever, I mean, we have to do the test, and
Right.
and that's what the only lab that does the stuff is up.
Yeah, it's way up there.
I think to be
Up
more
by Lake
exact,
Champlain.
when they first started doing that, where I was working, we ended up doing one of the first, that went down into Connecticut,
Yep.
with some wells along one of the rivers. and that was the lab that did it then.
Yep.
And you had to get the stuff from them, they'd ship it down, and the same deal.
Right.
You'd think to be somebody doing it closer
Yeah, nobody seems to want
by now. All right. But now that well, once we have, it's going through the green sand and the,
Yeah, we've never had a detect pass
yeah,
through.
as I say, we never, and way back, they determined it wasn't under the.
No, because we're dosing, so we're using sodium myox, but,
Yeah.
you know, it's the same as chlorine. We're dosing really high going into the filters to remove the iron, so we go in at like 4 milligrams a liter into the filter, so nothing's gonna survive that, and then pass through the filters and come out.
And then it goes through there, then it goes through the,
UV.
well, it goes through the PFAS.
Yep, and now it continues on through the
Through
PFAS.
there,
filter.
and we got the 4-log disinfection now anyway.
Right, so we're
So-
boosting it back up on the way out.
Okay. Like what extra would we have to do if it was under the.
Oh, you wanna know?
Let's get some, get big
Oh, you
changes.
become surface water.
Yeah,
You become you have staff.
that's when we talk about not using that well and cranking this up above the 1.8 MGD
Yeah.
down here. Or put in a replacement somewhere else in that area.
Yeah, that's a tight area.
Now, I know, there's not a lot of room. How deep is that well?
I think most of our wells are 50 to 60 feet.
All right, just keep our fingers crossed. Anything else to bring up, or then we'll go into executive session and discuss that?
No.
Contracts.
Next meeting,
Tuesday, April 15th.
Tuesday, April 5th. I will make a motion to enter into executive session to discuss the superintendent's contract and the office manager's contract not to resume in open session.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we will now go to executive session.